Well, at least the sun's shining now. Morning world, and welcome to a pretty damp Thursday 17th of October. Last night, pissed down again. But cattle didn't want to come in. As odd as it sounds, it was lashing down, and I just felt so guilty, and I said right to myself, I came down, turned all the lights on, opened the gates. Cattle were looking at me. I said, come on then, in you come. And I really genuinely thought they'd go whoopee and stampede in the shed. Nope, they stood there and looked at me. So this morning I came down and they still hadn't come in the shed. They're all right down the bottom down there. So I shut the gate again. We got 2 days now of reasonable weather, so it's not going to get wet, rain, much. So next week we have got Matthew, the Sparky, coming. I think it's Thursday and Friday he's coming next week. So I'm hoping we can get all these old lights are coming out. New lights are going in, so I've got two 5-foot strip lights coming in here, which should be enough to light they're doubles. This in here, we only want enough light. We're not going to do any work really with cattle in here, but one of the lights is going to be right over where the crush is, deliberately, and the other one just sort of down in that area there somewhere. With the other drop-down lights we're having put in next door, we should have, whatever the circumstances, we should have plenty of light to deal with any situation that could arise. So, yeah. I'm going to give them a couple of bales a minute because they've polished off those. Even that rough old hay, which I thought was, well, it's rough. They're still eating it, still getting through it. So, you know, I want it gone. I want to get rid of that. So they can have that first while they're not being fussy. As soon as I start giving them the nice stuff, they'll turn their nose up at that. So I have to get rid of the rough stuff first. That's like saying, right, you can have steak for a week, and then for the rest of the month or rest of the year, you can have bread. Well, it's a case of, well, I want steak all the time. I don't want the bread. So we'll give them the rough stuff first. Sounds a bit tight, but like I said, nothing's carrying a calf. Nothing needs extra energy. We should be okay. I really want this to dry up. It would be really nice because the dust from that is worked its way up. You can see how soft it is. Although it's rolled, the cattle will chew that up in no time. I need it to dry out so I can pack it down a bit more. It's looking like we're going to forfeit this yard anyway this year. I don't think we're going to get this end concreted. If we've only got a couple of days dry and it's getting wet and mucky out there, I think it's just a case of we're going to end up putting feeders in here. Yes, they'll be undercover. Yes, they'll be comfortable. They can have that shed. Once the Spark is finished in there, they can have both of these. I can't really let them into there until Matt the Sparky has been in and done his electrics, because cherry pickers and electrical and cables and cattle don't mix. So yeah, not long. So I think what we're going to do is get that yard concreted this year. Probably that one next year. I ought to mention, by the way, today's video is probably going to be mainly this morning, with possibly a bit of late afternoon. The reason for that is, in the middle, just after lunch, I'm having a couple of hours off. If you've been with us a while, you remember Mrs. P bought me a fairly special birthday present. I'm a fan of the Blue Man Group. So one of the presents she bought me for my birthday was tickets to go and see the Blue Man Group. She wanted to come with me, so she had to book it on a time when she knew she could come with, which is going to be this afternoon. We're off to the matinee showing of Blue Man Group in Bristol this afternoon. So later on, if I come back on the camera, I can tell you what I thought of it. So I'm already pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it because it's kind of my type of entertainment. So, but yeah, Blue Man. If you've never heard of Blue Man Group, well, they're blue men and they play unusual musical instruments, quite often made up from plumbing supplies and the like. Right, I'm probably going to forget where I put this later on. So I'll be down the yard going, where did I put that bloody bucket? And yeah, I'll have to go looking for it. Yeah, I would, if you want to walk down across the farm, I'd bring your wellies. Don't bring your little tiny trainers. You might lose it in there somewhere. In my defence, we have had a lot of rain. That's one. Grass growing out of that one. Yeah, not the best. Sorted. Right, so my type 1, this is great stuff, and if you put it down in the dry and concrete straight on the top, I reckon it'll do brilliant stuff. But there is a lot of fines in it, possibly maybe just a bit too much for what I want right now. And with the wet and the vibrating roller, the fines are being worked to the top. We call it working the fat up, and it's not going down hard. Would type 1, proper type 1, do a better job? Possibly, probably, but I'm in a bit of a quandary at the minute, to be honest. I need to build up a bit more in here. This level needs to come right back into here a bit, but it is just not going down as hard as I wanted. Well, I rolled that with the vibrating roller yesterday, and that's what the skid steer's done, going over it just once. Do you see my problem? Looks nice now. Cattle would turn that up in 2 hours. Yeah, I should have started the project earlier, but we had 2 windows, and it was really the deciding factor of why we went later was because of TB. I didn't want to have the sheds apart and all apart before TB tests. I wanted the 6 months gap in between, so we went with later, and the weather's basically caught us up. If we'd had a dry autumn, none of this would be an issue. None of it. But it's been so bloody wet. It's caught me out. It's caught me with my pants down. Well, you've caught me on the road. I'm just heading over to Stroud now. Got a job to look at. Something I was supposed to look at last week. The weather got the better of me, nearly got the better of me today as well. So we are on our way, or I'm on my way, to a convent to go and look at some trees. Some nuisance trees. Not far now. We'll soon be there. Right, that's done. What a lovely place. Although I think I might have picked the guys up another job of cleaning gutters. Maybe. So, right, home, get changed, get ready to go out. Well, it's, what, 5:30 in the evening. We got back from Blue Man concert about 5 to 5, just as the guys were leaving. And I thought I'd tell you what I thought about the Blue Man, not concert, show. Yeah, I'll tell you what I thought about it. So I've been a fan of Blue Man for probably 3, maybe 4 years. But all I've ever seen is clips of shows and that on YouTube. I'm aware that the people that I saw today are probably not the folks that I saw on YouTube a couple of years ago, because I think members of the group sort of come and go. You know, people do their stint, go off and do something else. So, and you really don't know who the people are because, well, they're blue. But yeah, so today, 85% of what we watched and saw, I expected and really enjoyed. It was exactly what I went for. The 15%, well, there was a few bits of it I thought were a little bit odd. Just for me. I mean, they spent quite a lot of time in the audience poking and prodding folks, and, you know, got some folks up on stage and, you know, did some, but there were some bits like stuffing the camera down someone's throat and then following it all the way down to his stomach and then back out again. Didn't quite get that. I mean, it wasn't actually this guy's stomach. They just basically chucked the camera in an audience member's mouth and then clicked over to a camera going down someone's throat. Didn't get that. But that aside, I can forgive all that because the percussion, the drums, there was a young woman on the drum kit. She was fantastic. She was very enthusiastic. The three guys were funny and they behaved exactly as I've been watching them on videos for the last few years. It was very colourful. It was loud. We had a lot of laughs. Will I go again? Yes. Probably would, but I'll give you a piece of advice. Don't go in the first 3, maybe 4 rows. Go sort of 4th row back, because if you're in the first 3, you're going to get wet. I'll say no more. Right, back to the farm. It's not really drying up, is it? Not that I really expected it to. I would love to see this dry up. But of course, the sun's not going to get on it now. We've got no real wind. Nothing's really going to happen today or even tomorrow. So the weather's been quite good today, as you can see. We are ready for the cattle. If they want to come in, I can. All I have to do is open that gate. Well, they'll then have access to this yard and that shed. Not that yard out there, not the yard out there, just this shed, just this yard. If we get another severe weather warning, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to forfeit this yard. We'll have the concrete panels. But I won't put them in. It'll basically stay like this for now. I will probably just bring the ring feeders round, put the ring feeders in here and feed them in here with an option, if I have to, that I can also put a couple of bales in here. So I can, like I say, feed through that barrier there. At the moment I got a gate shut so they can't. Yeah, and then we will concentrate on getting that yard out there finished, get the panels in, get the concrete in done, give it plenty of time to go off properly, and then we'll open that gate and let it out there and we'll feed them out there, so we'll end up with more space. So after Christmas, they'll have all the space. Before Christmas, they'll be a bit squeezed up, but nothing's pregnant. We kind of deliberately didn't put anything calf because we thought this might happen. I don't want cattle in here squeezed up too tight, pregnant. So, and there's other stuff going on. Okay, so no rolling today, maybe a bit tomorrow. Maybe we'll build some levels up, but the thing is, we're kind of up on concrete level already now. By the time I pack that down, the concrete's going to be just under the gate. And this will have to be scraped back, and that there's quite a slope going down there, so I've got plenty of space to build concrete up that side next year. You right there, boys and girls? It is a bit mucky in there, and I'm sorry about that, but that is the weather. The gateway out here, just as I was leaving to go to Blue Man, we had a woman decide, well, a runner, she was running. She didn't run through that bit. She kind of got through that bit like she'd soiled herself. And then she ran to that gate, changed her mind, ran to that gate down there, got 40 yards in the field. The cattle spotted her running. Never run through a field full of cattle, because you just become a thing of fascination. They're going to go, what are you running for? Why are you running? Why are you running? And they'll run to you. And the last thing I saw was this poor woman inside the kissing gate down there. I think she's on her phone to try and get someone to come and rescue her. So to that poor woman, I'm really sorry. But to be honest, if you want to run in the countryside and through livestock, then you ought to know better. If you're going to go through, just walk through the cattle. Don't run. Okay? If you run and you want to run in the countryside, that's fine. Run. Come to a field of cattle, walk. Okay? Really, really good advice. Anyway, that's kind of it for today. I'm not going to start anything now. It's 20 to 6 in the evening. They've got plenty of food. They're not going to want anything until probably day after tomorrow, so it'll be the weekend. I imagine the barn will be open for them sometime in the next few days. I'm going to continue feeding them in there and not in the shed. I'm trying to keep the shed as clean as I can, and I don't want them loitering in the yard more than I have to, so I won't feed them in there until I really have to, which will probably be about a week after. So yeah, we're going to have some repair to do for next spring. So grass seed, harrows, roller, we'll fix it. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea, and I will see you folks tomorrow.